Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. And before we start this presentation, we would like to say our thanks to our lecturer, Miss Erfina, for giving us the chance and opportunity to present the next material in this class. And not to forget our audience, who is also our colleagues that have participated actively in prior and today's activities. We are Team 9 or Group 9. We would like to present the next material, which is Sorry to Interrupt, but. Okay, let us introduce ourselves. We are Team 9 or Group 9, which consists of myself. My name is Briandhika Rama Kusuma, and my partner, Mairi Puspa Astuti. Okay, these are the overview of the materials that we will be explain and presenting. The first one will be the structure of decision making. The second one will be stating and asking for opinion, and the third one will be interrupting and handling interruptions. Okay, on to the first material, which is the structure of decision making. Now, what do we need to know about making a decision or the structure of making a decision? Now, making a decision in this case is in a business meeting context. Now, what is a decision making meeting? Now, making a decision meeting is a gathering of leaders, managers, and sometimes other team members to make a call on important business choices. Now, in a decision-making process, the participant needs to be aware of others' perception, and there should be always a two-way communication between the participants. Now, of course, the reasons to having these business meetings is to make a decision, of course. Now, the information may be given in a presentation, followed by questions or discussions, but it is to get a consensus that the meeting has been arranged in the first place. Now, achieving this in the most time and the most effective manner possible is the goal that everyone that attends these meetings must share. Now, Marion Haynes stated the following steps to making a rational decision process. The first one is to define the problem. The second one is to set an objective, and the third one is to state the imperatives and desirable. The fourth one is to generate the alternatives between these decisions. Now, after that, we need to establish an evaluation criteria of the decisions that already been made. Now, after that, we need to evaluate between the alternatives. After that, we need to choose among those alternatives, and then we get our decisions. Now on to the outcomes of the decision-making meetings. Now, what are the outcomes? There are two outcomes. There are work outcomes and there are human outcomes. Now, what are the work outcomes? Now, the first one is that we get a documented decision, and then we have a clarity about who will take the next step. And then we have a documented message to share with others about the decisions that have been made by the teams and the leaders. Now, what are the human outcomes? The first one is that we have an understanding of the possible options and decisions in the criteria. And then the second one, we have the awareness of how the rest of the team feels about the decision. And then the third one, that we have a feeling that opinions that concerns were considered fairly or not fairly. And the last one is that we have the commitment to support this decision and carry out the next step. Okay, on to the next material, which is stating and asking for opinion. Okay, the first one is stating for opinion. An opinion is a statement that expresses a feeling, an attitude, a value, judgment, or belief. Now, it is a statement that is neither true or false, or it may feel true for some, and it may be false for others. Now, here are the example of stating for when you want to state an opinion. You can say, in my opinion, then followed by your opinions, and then in my view, blah blah blah. And what I'm thinking is blah blah blah. It seems that to me, blah blah blah, and etc. And you get the idea. Okay. Note that when stating your opinion, is that it allows others to understand where you stand on an issue, which can help them better engage with you towards a common goal with you. Okay, on to the next material, which is asking for opinion. Now, asking for opinion is important in communication. It shows that you value the input and perspective of others. It can also help to generate view and solution on a matter, as well as foster a sense of collaboration and inclusivity. Okay, for example, when you want to ask someone for their opinion, you say, "Do you have any opinion on this matter?" or "What's your view? Please tell me your opinion on this subject," or "What is your opinion about that?" And the next material will be explained by my partner, Mairi Puspa.
Interrupt someone. Once you decide to interrupt someone while they are talking, the first thing to do is to apologize and make your comment is a valuable contribution to discussion. Also, try to make it as quick as possible. And there are the rule to instruction. The first rule is raise your hand. Before you jump in and potentially disrupt the flow of conversation, it's a good practice to announce your interruption with a visual cue. Although still disruptive, a hand-raising signal can serve to remind people speaking that you have something to add, and choose help you avoid verbally interrupting someone mid-sentence. In this way, you are signaling that you will go next after the person speaking finish their point. The next rule is start by asking for permission to chime in. Make sure to always ask for permission to interrupt. In this way, you are showing to all participants and demonstrating your awareness of basic meeting and professional communication etiquette. And the next rule is apologies for interrupting. If you don't want to come across as rude and outright insensitive and get all the wrong types of attention from all participants in the meeting, be sure to start with an apology. For the example is, "I'm terribly sorry to interrupt, but..." Okay, the next rule is mind the timing and the relevancy. In other words, don't wait until the next topic of discussion to add a comment about the current one. At the same time, pay attention to the relevancy of your commentary. Is it actually contributing to the topic, or is it derailing to the conversation away from the main focus? How to interrupt someone. The following are examples of sentences that you can use to interrupt someone. The first example is, "I'm sorry for interrupt" or "to interrupt, but..." The next example is, "I'm terribly sorry to interrupt, but..." The next example is, "Sorry to butt in, but..." "Excuse me, but I'd like to add or mention something." "May I or can I say something?" "Before you move on, may I say or add something here? Could I jump in?" Why people interrupt someone? There are the reasons why people interrupt someone. The first reason is ask something in order to clarify things. You may be listening to someone speaking and may not hear or understand very well what they are saying, or you may need an extensive explanation to clarify things. Just apologize for interrupting and try to make it quick. For the example, "I apologize for the interruption, but I don't quite understand." Or, "I am so sorry for the interruption, but could you please clarify the paragraph 2? The second reason is give your opinion or add something. Sometimes you might think that you could contribute to the conversation by sharing your opinion. Go ahead, try to interrupt politely and say it. For the example, sorry for interrupting, but I feel like sharing my opinion. Or, I apologize for interrupting, but what you said makes me think or reminds me of. Okay, the next reason is pass a message. Sometimes you need to interrupt people while talking when you have a message to pass. Just apologize and pass on your message. For the example, sorry to interrupt, but just to remind you that your Zoom meeting starts in 5 minutes. And the last reason is end a conversation. In case something urgent has come up or you just have to end up someone's conversation for any reason, you could say it. For example, sorry to interrupt, but the time we set aside for this meeting is over. The next slide is how to handling the interruption. Depending on the situation, you can pause the meeting, ask the person to leave and return later, or address the issue briefly and resume the meetings. There are two ways to handle or answer the interruption, namely agree and disagree or approve and reject the interruption. There are the example of sentence when you want to approve the interruption. No problem, it's okay. Please go ahead. Of course, what do you think? Sure, what's your opinion? And the second way is reject the interruption. There are the example of sentence when you want to reject the interruption. Will or would you please let me finish? Sorry, I'd like to finish the thought. Please don't interrupt me. Excuse me, but I haven't finished yet. Okay, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you to all of you for listening to our presentation. If you guys have any question, please put your questions in the comment. We will be very happy to answer any question you may have for us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.